Hello Man United fans. Manchester United confirmed two controversial post-season fixtures to boost revenue. Manchester United will whisk their players off to Malaysia and Hong Kong for money-spinning friendlies straight after the conclusion of the Premier League at the end of May. Manchester United have confirmed a two-game post-season tour of Malaysia and Hong Kong next month. It will be the first post-season tour in the modern era for United and a first return to Asia since 2022 when they beat arch-rivals Liverpool in Bangkok. United will take on ASEAN All-Stars in the 84,000-capacity Bukit Jalil National Stadium in Kuala Lumpur on May 28 before traveling to play Hong Kong, China in the 40,000-capacity Hong Kong Stadium on May 30. United last visited Kuala Lumpur in 2009 and Hong Kong in 2013, with the post-season tour a precursor to United's participation in the Premier League Summer Series in the US. Ruben Amorim and his squad will fly to Kuala Lumpur straight after their final Premier League game of the season at home to Aston Villa on May 25. Omar Barada, Chief Executive Officer at Manchester United, said, "We appreciate the amazing level of support that Manchester United enjoys around the world, and this summer we are delighted to deliver a schedule that provides our fans in Asia, Scandinavia and the United States the opportunity to connect with the club and watch the men's first team play live in local settings." Importantly, tour fixtures drive significant additional revenue which help make the club stronger, allowing us to keep investing in success on the pitch. They also create unique opportunities for us to collaborate with our valued commercial partners and to deepen relationships with our fans in regions such as Asia and the US. Since Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos arrived in February 2024, there has been a strong emphasis on the need to make cuts and increase revenue. Ratcliffe recently claimed that without the cost-cutting measures he implemented, the club would have run out of cash by the end of 2025. However, the idea of post-season matches is a contentious one, given the high workload of the modern player. The Professional Footballers Association has expressed worry for its members who risk burnout due to the number of matches and travel without rest. The Times recently reported that sources close to United stars Alejandro Garnacho and Manuel Ugarte were alarmed at the plans to fly out to the Far East at the end of the Premier League season. That is because the duo are hoping to represent Argentina and Uruguay in World Cup qualifiers shortly after playing for United in Malaysia and Hong Kong, creating grueling 75,000-mile schedules. Later in the summer, United will play Leeds in Stockholm on July 19 and then head to the United States, where they will participate in the Premier League Summer Series, which begins on July 26. £52 million signing has given Manchester United something they were not expecting. Leny Yoro has been growing in stature in recent matches for Man United, particularly in possession, and he has shown he can do it in more than just one role. For the first time in his Manchester United career, Leny Yoro has made back-to-back Premier League starts that have each amounted to more than 85 minutes. After storing 88 minutes under his belt in United's 1-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest at the City Ground last Tuesday night, the talented Frenchman completed the full 90 minutes as United drew 0-0 with Manchester City at Old Trafford on Sunday. Yoro's maiden season at Old Trafford, impacted by a pre-season injury that saw him suffer a fractured metatarsal in the club's first game of their pre-season tour of the United States, has had a stop-start theme to it, with United having to manage his load and account for other little injury setbacks. But having made back-to-back starts and so nearly completing both games since the March international break, Yoro is now tracking in the right direction. United swooped for the former Lille man, who was 18 at the time, last summer, signing him for a fee that could eventually be worth £58.9 million. Real Madrid were also firmly interested in the youngster but were beaten to the punch by the Reds, whose ambition was attractive to the centre-back. "Signing for a club with the stature and ambition of Manchester United so early in my career is an incredible honor," Yoro said. "Since my first conversations with the club, they set out a clear plan for how I can develop in Manchester as part of this exciting project and showed a lot of care for me and my family." Although this season has had a stop-start theme to it, his recent performances have shown why United were convinced they were signing one of Europe's most exciting centre-backs. He has been very assured defensively of late, but it is his ball-playing credentials that have come to the fore. Against Forest last week, Yoro completed 75 of his 81 attempted passes, giving him a 93% passing accuracy, before boasting an 89% passing accuracy against City by completing 40 of his 45 attempted passes. What is all the more impressive about Euro's metrics is that he delivered such polished figures from two different positions. He started on the right of the defense against Forest, supported by Matthijs de Ligt and Nasser Mazraoui, before lining up on the left against City, joining forces with Harry Maguire, who replaced the injured de Ligt and Mazraoui. Being right-footed, Euro, following Ruben Amorim's appointment in November, was instantly expected to become United's long-term right-sided centre-back. That does remain the case given his age and profile, but his performance against Pep Guardiola's side highlighted that he is also an option to be considered for the left of the back three, and that prospect never crossed anybody's mind a few months ago. Of course. Just how good is Manchester United transfer target Liam Delap? The Ipswich Town striker is holding up his end, but his days at Portman Road are numbered. Liverpool losing to Fulham might have created the illusion of life in the Premier League title race, but an illusion is all it is. Liverpool will win the title. Leicester City and Ipswich Town are going down with Southampton. Ipswich were the promoted team most expected to go straight back down, but they're really the one of the three who will look back on this season with the biggest sense of regret. Southampton have been atrocious. Leicester City followed the questionable decision to sack Steve Cooper with the obviously risky one to appoint Ruud van Nistelrooy, a managerial candidate who wasn't impressive enough to interest Coventry City. It's been different for Ipswich. Where Leicester's big choice sent them down a dead-end road, Ipswich will be relegated with a long list of little questions that amount to the single matter of whether, just maybe, they could have done more. The Tractor Boys were promoted into the Premier League with a highly rated manager and a willingness to spend money. They made a bet on their Premier League survival and backed Kieran McKenna from start to finish. For several months of the season, Ipswich were regarded as a team with at least the whiff of enough grit and quality to be in the battle with the likes of Everton, West Ham United and Wolverhampton Wanderers and leave Southampton and Leicester in the dirt. Yet their underlying numbers never suggested that their position near the bottom was false. Before they really started to fade out of the fight, their indicative performance statistics pointed to the probability of a team in the bottom two, never mind the bottom three. And they were neither overperforming them to the extent that you'd believe in their quality nor underperformed them to the degree that they were likely to improve. Of Ipswich's not insignificant transfer outlay since promotion, a reported £20 million was used to extricate Liam Delap from the loans and limbo of life as a 21-year-old English striker at Manchester City. Delap, now 22, has been a bright spot in a gloomy season. He was their sharpest edge when they battled to some impressive draws early in the season. City, Tottenham Hotspur and Chelsea have all been mentioned alongside his name, but the glaring gap, the great big hole crying out for a proven Premier League scorer and the one most audibly linked with Delap as the solution is the one at Manchester United. There's a lot to like about Liam Delap. Is that the best place for him? That's a question for another day. But Delap is a capable finisher, albeit not completely polished. He will only get better with experience. His goal against AFC Bournemouth at the start of April was a brilliant example of what he can do. He held the ball up on his own, fed Connor Townsend as he ran beyond him, moved towards the penalty spot, and leathered the Man United tempted to sign Mini Salah on cut-price deal. Manchester United are reportedly keeping a close eye on Brentford winger Bryan Mbeumo, who is set for bigger things next season. The Red Devils will be looking to add more firepower to their attacking department. But while signing a new centre-forward is certainly a priority, one or two additions to the wings would also be useful. After all, the club hasn't replaced Antony, who is unlikely to be reinstated following his Real Betis loan stint, while Alejandro Garnacho's future remains shrouded in mystery. According to FICHodges.net, Man United are closely following Mbeumo, who has been one of the best revelations of the Premier League campaign. The Cameroonian started his career at Troyes before moving to Brentford in 2019. Perhaps it has taken him a while to set the community stadium on fire, but he has certainly delivered the goods this season. The 25-year-old has thus far contributed with 16 goals and 5 assists in 31 EPL appearances. Mbeumo's explosive runs down the right wing earned him comparisons to Liverpool star Mo Salah. Former Chelsea and Spurs player Jason Cundy went on to describe him as Mini Salah. Man United plotting summer onslaught for Bryan Mbeumo. As Fixtures explains, United are willing to take a step forward and perhaps make the Cameroon international their first summer signing. The source adds that the Reds will try to pounce on the player's contract situation to drive the price down. Mbeumo's current deal with Brentford will expire in the summer of 2026, albeit the club has the option to extend it for another year. But even if the Bees end up activating this clause, their leverage on the winger's future is starting to weaken, so perhaps they would be better off selling him next summer to the highest bidder instead of risking losing him for lower figures later on. Bumo is also being linked to Arsenal, so it remains to be seen if a tug-of-war will erupt for his signature in the summer.